And across the cage, his opponent fighting out of the blue corner at 6'1", weighing in at 205 and 1/2 pounds. As a professional, 18 wins, 7 losses, 1 draw. From Long Beach, California, Ema1nuel, the Hardcore Kid Newton. And the referee in charge of the action, John McCarthy.
Let's get to it in the light heavyweight tournament quarterfinal round. Atan1as Djam1bazov versus Ema1nuel. Our tale of the tape is brought to you by Dave & Buster's. Visit DaveandBusters.com.
You see here, both guys very experienced. I would say Ema1nuel has taken on the slightly better talent in his career.
Ready? Ready? Let's get up. The winner through to the semifinal round and round number 1. Tonight's Fight Clock is brought to you by Miller Lite, the official beer of Bellator. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time.
I was really impressed by the stand-up of Ema1nuel against Atan1as, who's known for his stand-up. He looked great in terms of the kickboxing. Really looked good again tonight. Nice right hand.
Djam1bazov is in the black trunks, Newton is in the red trunks. Djam1bazov trying to walk through with the right hand. Counter kick on the inside by Newton. Here we go early.
Both guys just letting it go. They're fighting like it's a 1-round fight.
Djam1bazov catching the leg, letting it go. The Bulgarian trading now on the inside. Newton circles out.
And one thing about Ema1nuel, he's very unorthodox. Throws kicks from a lot of different angles, spinning punches. See Djam1bazov a lot more basic, throwing power shots right down the center.
Couldn't get that kick through.
I think this is the range Newton wants, is this outside game with those great kicks. Nice kick by Djam1bazov.
Then he followed with the flurry of punches. Was Newton forced early on to be the counterpuncher, Jimmy? Side kick from Newton. Djam1bazov landed the uppercut with the right hand on the inside.
Very quick with that uppercut. It is powerful.
Atan1as Djam1bazov throwing that body kick.
18 wins, only 2 knockouts for Ema1nuel. He's not exactly a knockout striker.
You've trained with him, right?
I have, and he's one of those guys, he throws a lot. He makes up for it in volume. He doesn't have, I would say, heavy hands, but he throws a lot of punches and has some weird angles.
Threw a weird angle kick there to Newton, and Djam1bazov walked right through it. Djam1bazov still coming forward. Newton, a lot of counter kicks, and that landed flush to the body.
Djam1bazov, 17 wins, all of them finishes, 9 KOs, 8 submissions. He's used to finishing guys, but he's got to watch taking counter rights like that.
On the right, and also a sneaky left on the inside. Side kick from Newton. He's landing his kicks, Jimmy.
You see it in his style. Djam1bazov not fighting like it's a 3-round fight. Does he have the gas for 15 minutes? Newton's been in deep water before.
Another big uppercut to the inside, left counter kick. Both continue to trade.
Well, Djam1bazov already starting to breathe heavily.
In those exchanges, Jimmy, when Djam1bazov is throwing hands, Newton is throwing a lot of kicks to counter.
It's about controlling range. It's a good way to keep a guy off you, is control him with the kicks.
First takedown of this fight, it's Newton on top. See what Djam1bazov can do from his back.
Ema1nuel training at Body Shop with Antonio McKee. You know he's been working on his wrestling.
Djam1bazov trying to throw an uppercut from flat on his back. For about 200 fights and not see that. Throwing from the top position at big wide base, now diving back to his knees. Open guard from Atan1as Djam1bazov. Looking for an armbar.
Gotta go hard for it.
Newton trying to slam his way out. That didn't work the first time. Djam1bazov still committing to the armbar. Another slam from Newton. Now trying to punch his way out. Jimmy, I know you say never try to slam your way out of an armbar.
It's not showing a lot of respect for Djam1bazov's ground game, because usually that won't get you out, but Newton felt that he could get away with it, and he did. Hip positioning was not great for Djam1bazov.
So done by Newton.
Ema1nuel has good front chokes. Nice spin around. I like the timing on that.
Final minute, round number 1. Light heavyweight tournament quarterfinal. Atan1as Djam1bazov versus Ema1nuel for a place in the final 4. Bazov trying to fight out of half guard. Continuing to throw from his back. Newton now staying heavy. That's Djam1bazov giving his back. Newton couldn't find it, Jimmy.
He was a little bit what we call high in the ride. He was a little too high to get his hooks in. That's how Djam1bazov was able to explode on him.
Djam1bazov again was fishing for
Good right. I like that. Pound to pass. Stunned him with the right hand, went right around the guard.
A strong start to round number 1 for Atan1as Djam1bazov, and a strong finish to round 1 for Ema1nuel Newton. Tonight's Corner Cam is brought to you by the outrageous comedy movie 43 in theaters January 25th.
Take him down and finish it, okay? Keep the left underhook.
Atan1as talking to his fighter, Ema1nuel Newton.
Left underhook, he's throwing all that bullshit. Keep the left underhook, pass him to the right side, and work. It's over, all right? Stay to your right. Every time you go to your right, you're fucking him up.
Watch his uppercut.
All right?
He comes in with that uppercut.
Yeah.
If you're moving out, it's keeping the distance.
Look good? This is over now, okay? Right, it's done now. But don't bang it out. Where's the water?
Here, go, guys.
Too late.
Let's go.
Here, now drink it and give it to me.
A lot of swelling under the left eye of Atan1as Djam1bazov. Tough round to score, Jimmy, because Djam1bazov looked really good early, and then Newton controlled to the end of the round 1. How did you see it?
I saw it 10-9 Ema1nuel Newton. I thought they both landed some good punches, but Ema1nuel Newton with that takedown, that dominance in the second half of the round, that gave him the fight to me.
It was almost a split round. In terms of the first half, I agree with you with Newton winning it, but Djam1bazov pretty much dominated the first 2.5 minutes, then Newton dominated the second 2.5.
But Newton was landing back. Newton was trying to counterpunch, landing some good right hands. It wasn't totally one-sided.
Oh, I agree with you. I think Newton won the round as well. Side kick from Ema1nuel Newton.
I like the emphasis that Antonio McKee was putting in the corner of angling. Don't stand in front of this guy. He's tired, angle, wear him out. He's throwing power punches right now. You don't want one to catch him.
Push kick. Djam1bazov is eating a lot of Newton kicks.
Those pay dividends in a fight that goes in that third round. But man, Djam1bazov looks tired. You saw that deep breath there.
Almost surrealistic. Djam1bazov turned to referee John McCarthy and had a huge exhale. I think McCarthy would be impressed. That's a nice uppercut from Djam1bazov.
Gotta wonder though how much steam is on those punches. So he looks tired already. We just started the second round.
Djam1bazov went for the hip toss, did not find it. Djam1bazov trying to explode back to his feet, and to his credit he does. Again went for a hip toss, you see, tried to get the arm in, couldn't find it. It winds up in this position.
And full mount now.
That's almost the Sambo equivalent to jumping guard. Full mount indeed from Ema1nuel Newton. Speaking of Sambo, there's the defensive body lock from the bottom by Atan1as Djam1bazov, just trying to hold on.
And I prefer jiu-jitsu. What he has to do is push on that knee and use his mount escape.
Unfettered shots now from Newton, and he's thinking finish Jimmy.
Oh man, nice right hand. Djam1bazov's in big trouble here because he's winded. There are 3 minutes left in the second round.
Newton just hanging out in full mount. Djam1bazov turning, gave his back.
Now Newton has a very good rear naked choke, and he got it.
There's the tap. And Ema1nuel Newton with that second round victory is through to the semifinals.
He wore Djam1bazov down and then took advantage with the rear naked. He said, I've been working on my condition at the body shop. That was a big part of my training. It paid off tonight.
Djam1bazov exploded up, but when he exploded up, he gave his back And Newton sunk in the choke to finish.
Now, I like what Newton did. He didn't hold on to the mount and let himself get rolled. He popped up and took the back. Wasn't able to sink his hooks, but was in position to get the rear naked. Smart move by Ema1nuel Newton.
Tonight's fight replay is brought to you by the outrageous comedy movie 43 in theaters January 25th.
That's from round number 1. You see the shot to the eye with the right hand by Ema1nuel Newton. And in the second round, more dominance on the ground. From here, it was to the mount. And then the end of the fight here, he tried to roll, but Newton stayed behind him. Almost what we call a bulldog choke here, and then he turns, gets the rear naked, and that is all she wrote. Beautiful job by Ema1nuel Newton.